Have you ever had one of those nights where just as you're finally drifting off, nature calls, and not once, but twice, 3 times, maybe even more, you find yourself shuffling through the dark like a sleep-deprived ninja, trying not to trip over the dog or wake your partner? By morning, you're exhausted, not because you stayed up watching old westerns or reminiscing about the good old days, but because your bladder decided to take center stage. Again, now look, if you're over 70, you're not alone. In fact, waking up to pee in the middle of the night, what the doctors call Nocturia, is one of the most common sleep disturbances for older adults. It sneaks in quietly, starts with one trip here and there, and before you know it, it's breaking your nights into pieces. And broken sleep, that's a recipe for foggy mornings, low energy, aching joints, and sometimes even falls. Not exactly how you pictured your golden years, is it? But here's the good news. This isn't just a part of aging you have to live with. Nope, this isn't one of those things you throw your hands up and surrender to. There are real, proven ways to take back your nights without needing a pile of pills or awkward contraptions. In this video, we're going to talk about how to stop peeing at night after 77 practical, science-backed habits that can help you sleep deeper and longer without those frequent pit stops. These tips are gentle, natural, and totally doable, even if you're not a fan of change or don't like drinking green juices at 5 a.m. It's not about overhauling your entire lifestyle. It's about knowing the right levers to pull so your bladder doesn't run the show. Let's start with something simple but powerful: when and how much you drink. Now, I know what you're thinking. Are you really telling me not to drink water? Of course not. Hydration is still crucial, especially for seniors, but the trick is timing. Think of your bladder like a bucket. If you fill it up too much before bedtime, it's going to overflow probably around 2:47 a.m., if we're being honest. So here's the key. Start drinking more water earlier in the day. Load your hydration. From the moment you wake up, sip water steadily through the morning and early afternoon. By dinner time, start easing up. And 2 hours before bed, hit pause. Not zero, just pause. You'll still get enough fluids, but your bladder will be far less bossy overnight. And don't just take my word for it. Studies have shown that simply adjusting fluid intake timing can reduce nighttime urination significantly, especially in older adults. That's a big win for something so simple, right? Now let's talk about caffeine. I know, I'm walking on sacred ground here. That afternoon cup of coffee or tea is a little moment of joy, a ritual, maybe even your daily me time. But caffeine is a known diuretic. It tells your kidneys to get to work fast, which means more urine and more urgency. What most people don't realize is that even a cup at 2 or 3 p.m. can still be messing with your bladder come bedtime. Our bodies process things slower with age. So what used to be harmless might now be the culprit behind those nighttime wake-up calls. If you're having trouble sleeping through the night without peeing, try cutting off caffeine by 1 p.m. Swap it for herbal tea, decaf coffee, or even warm water with lemon, whatever feels comforting and helps you wind down. Give it a week or two and see what happens. You might be surprised how much quieter your bladder becomes when it's not dancing to the tune of that afternoon espresso. Now here's a sneaky one that a lot of people don't think about. Salt. Yep, salt can directly affect how often you pee. See, when you eat a salty meal, say, a nice big bowl of soup or a sandwich with pickles, your body holds onto more water to dilute all that sodium. But later, as your body processes it, you'll start dumping that extra water. And if you've had that salty meal at night, guess when that water wants to leave? You guessed it, in the middle of the night. So here's the tweak. Try to make your dinner lighter on salt. That doesn't mean your food has to taste like cardboard. Use herbs, garlic, lemon juice, even a sprinkle of black pepper to keep things flavorful. But ditch the salty snacks and heavy sauces at night. Your taste buds will adjust, and your bladder will thank you. These first changes may seem small, just drinking earlier, skipping late day coffee, and cutting back on evening salt, but for many people they're game changers. Because the truth is, your bladder is a creature of habit. If you shift your rhythms, your body will follow. And when it does, your nights start to stretch out. Instead of waking up at 1:23, then 3:11, then 5:06, you might just sleep until dawn. Imagine that, a full night's sleep, no flashlight needed, no cold bathroom tiles under your feet. And look, I know it's easy to feel discouraged. Maybe you've tried things before that didn't work. Maybe you've chalked it all up to aging and accepted it like some unwanted house guest. But don't. Your sleep still matters. Your rest is sacred. And no matter your age, your body is still listening, still responding to the choices you make. Even now, let's keep going, because once you've started to lighten the bladder's burden in the evening, there's another factor just as important to address. One of the most overlooked parts of this whole equation isn't just what goes into your body. It's what your body's doing when you're not even thinking about it. I'm talking about how you move. That's right, movement, gentle, steady, mindful activity can have a surprisingly strong impact on your bladder health. When you sit or lie down for long periods, especially in the afternoon or evening, fluid can start to pool in your lower legs. You might notice some swelling in your ankles or a little heaviness in your feet. Now, here's where it gets interesting. When you lie down to sleep, your body starts to reabsorb that fluid and send it to the kidneys. And what do the kidneys do with it? You guessed it, they turn it into urine. That's part of why you suddenly feel the urge to pee not long after you've gotten cozy under the covers. So, how do you fix that? You get up and move, nothing dramatic, no treadmills or jazzercise here, just a 10 to 20 minute walk in the late afternoon or early evening. Even pacing gently around the house, doing some light stretches, or standing up and sitting down a few times can help. The goal is circulation, helping your body flush out that fluid earlier so it doesn't wait until 2 a.m. to get the job done. And if you've got a little swelling already, try elevating your legs for a bit in the early evening. Prop them up on a pillow while you read or watch TV. Let gravity help you out. It's a simple trick, but for some people, it's the difference between waking up twice or not at all. Now let's turn our attention to something a bit more hidden: stress. Yep, your bladder listens to your brain more than you think. When you're anxious, overwhelmed, or even just quietly worried, your body produces stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Those little guys don't just make your heart race or tighten your shoulders. They also stimulate your bladder. You've probably felt it before, maybe before a doctor's appointment, or while waiting for test results, or during a tough conversation. That sudden, almost urgent need to pee, even if your bladder's not really full, that's the stress response. And for many seniors, especially those who have lived through decades of responsibilities, caregiving, losses, or big life changes, that underlying tension can become a quiet companion. The solution isn't always about therapy or medication, though those can help. It's about creating small, peaceful habits that let your nervous system settle down before bed. Maybe it's listening to soft music, sipping warm chamomile tea, or simply taking 10 slow, deep breaths while sitting by the window. Maybe it's writing a few thoughts down in a notebook, just to let your mind release what it's holding onto. Whatever soothes you, that's your medicine, because a calm mind sends a message to your bladder. It's okay to rest. Don't underestimate this. So many people try to fix their body by ignoring their mind, but at this stage of life, they are deeply connected. You've carried a lot. You deserve the kind of peace that lets you sleep without interruption. And speaking of rest, let's talk about one of the most underrated forces in your entire sleep routine, temperature. Specifically, keeping your bedroom cool. You might be wondering, what does this have to do with peeing? A lot more than you think. Here's the deal: when your body temperature rises, either because your room is too warm or your blankets are too heavy, you tend to toss and turn. And every time you shift into a lighter stage of sleep, you become more aware of any sensations in your body, including your bladder. Even if it's only half full, your brain might interpret that as, "Oh no, emergency, get up and go." So, instead of sleeping through the night, you're waking up to a bladder that didn't actually need to bother you. But in a cooler room, think around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, your body enters deeper sleep more easily. It doesn't get overheated, and your bladder stays in the background where it belongs. Add in breathable sheets, maybe even a light cotton blanket instead of a thick comforter, and you've just created an environment that tells your whole body, "We're safe. We can relax." Sometimes the answer isn't in a fancy supplement or some newfangled gadget. Sometimes it's just about setting the stage for your body to do what it already knows how to do: rest, heal, and restore. And if you've ever laid awake at night wondering, "Why can't I sleep like I used to?" I want to gently remind you that aging doesn't mean giving up your right to good sleep. Your body is still wise. It's still trying to help you. You just have to meet it halfway. The truth is, when you combine movement, calm, and comfort, your nights start to change. Not all at once, but steadily. You stop looking at the clock every hour. You stop dreading bedtime. And maybe, just maybe, you wake up feeling refreshed instead of foggy. That's not a miracle. That's just the power of consistent, loving choices. And you know what? You deserve that. You've lived through so much. You've been strong for so many people. Now it's your turn to be strong for yourself by giving your body the rest it's been craving. Let's keep going. There's still more we can do to quiet that midnight bladder, and it starts with one final, often overlooked change. We've already looked at how hydration, timing, caffeine, salt, gentle movement, stress, and room temperature all play into the nighttime puzzle. But there's one more piece, one that tends to sneak under the radar, even though it's right in front of us. And that's what you're putting on your plate at night. See, your dinner choices, the actual food you eat, can either be your bladder's best friend or its worst enemy. Some foods quietly irritate the bladder lining, making it more sensitive and reactive. That means even a small amount of urine can trigger a big response, an urgent middle of the night, get up right now kind of feeling. The culprits, acidic and spicy foods, top the list. Think tomato sauce, citrus fruits, vinegar-based dressings, chili peppers, and sometimes even chocolate. Now, I know that sounds like half the flavor in life, especially if you've been enjoying spaghetti night or a square of dark chocolate before bed. But here's the thing, it doesn't mean you have to give it all up. It just means being mindful. Try easing up on those ingredients at dinner time and see how your body responds. Everyone's a little different. For some, it's the tomatoes. For others, it might be that after dinner orange or a drizzle of hot sauce. You won't know until you gently test and tweak. What you can do is opt for more bladder-friendly evening meals. Things like grilled chicken or fish, steamed vegetables, mashed sweet potatoes, or a warm bowl of oatmeal if you prefer something light. These kinds of foods nourish without irritating. They comfort without consequence. And that gives your bladder the signal to settle down, not sound the alarm. And here's another gentle reminder: what you eat isn't just fuel, it's information. Every bite is telling your body how to behave. And when you give your body calm, soothing signals at night, it gives you calm, uninterrupted sleep in return. Now let's talk about something people often avoid because it feels a little embarrassing, but it shouldn't be. I'm talking about strengthening your pelvic floor muscles. Yep, even in your 70s and beyond, you can improve the strength and control of the muscles that support your bladder. And this isn't just about preventing leaks or accidents. It's about building the kind of quiet power that lets you sleep through the night without that sense of urgency creeping in. You've probably heard of Kegel exercises, simple contractions of those lower pelvic muscles, the ones you'd use to stop a stream of urine mid-flow. Doing them regularly, just a few times a day, can gradually help your bladder hold more without discomfort. Think of it like gentle weightlifting for your core, no gym required, just you sitting comfortably in your chair, practicing a little rhythm, squeeze, hold, release. Start with 5 repetitions, then 10. Over time, you build a connection between your brain and those deep muscles. And that's when the magic starts to happen. You feel more in control, more relaxed, and your bladder, that once noisy neighbor, starts to settle into a much quieter rhythm. This kind of work takes patience, but the results are real. Some people notice changes in a few weeks. Others take a bit longer, but every bit of effort you give to your body comes back to you in peace, in sleep, in energy the next day. And now, let's land this plane. After everything we've talked about, the small daily changes, the new awareness around your food, drinks, movements, and emotions, you might be wondering, will this actually work for me? And I want to say this clearly, yes, it can, it does, and it will if you're willing to try. Your age doesn't disqualify you from healing. It qualifies you. You've earned the wisdom to know your body. You've lived long enough to know that quick fixes don't last, but gentle habits, the kind that come from self-respect, those are the ones that carry you forward. Even one fewer bathroom trip per night can mean deeper rest, a sharper mind, steadier balance, and more joy the next morning. That's not a small thing. That's your quality of life. That's your freedom. You've fought hard for your health, maybe through surgeries, maybe through loss, maybe through years of putting others first. Now is your time to reclaim your nights, and if you're feeling unsure, like maybe you've tried and failed before, let me tell you something from the heart. It's never too late. Your body wants to help you. It's waiting for a signal, and that signal is you choosing to care for it with intention and consistency, not perfection, just effort. So if you're ready for deeper sleep, stronger mornings, and quieter nights, start today. Try one change, just one, and tomorrow try another. Watch how your body responds. Be patient, be kind. Keep going, and if this video helped you feel seen, understood, or even just a little bit hopeful, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's been working for you? What's been the hardest part? Your story might just be the encouragement someone else needs. Don't forget to like this video, share it with a friend or loved one who needs a little peace at night, and hit that subscribe button for more honest, heart-centered advice for your health and happiness. Here's to restful nights, energized days, and living your best life at every age. You deserve that. You really do.